One little welding fabrication project today, and tomorrow we got to make this or this into something like this. So we go from that to that. Hopefully you like it. And what this is, or what it will be, is a post driver. So custom post driver, we have to make it a different size, but to drive a mailbox, custom mailbox post into the ground or a fence post. But the reason why we can't use something like this is because it doesn't work for a 3-inch pipe where this one does. So we've got to make one of these into something like that. Well, Chris Wojnarski is back again, another welding fabrication video for you guys. Today is September 4th, 2025. In Dunedin, Florida, it is partly cloudy today, almost 85 to 90 degrees, a little hot, a little humid, but not too bad because the sun's not out and it's not super hot. But back to it. We got a little free range, kind of half free range, but we got to make it about this size, and we can kind of customize the handles we want, so it doesn't have to be exactly like that. But for now, I'm going to cut it to about that size, but I'm going to subtract. I'm going to put like a 3/8 or ½ inch cap on top, so minus a ½ of an inch. So this is 23 1/4. So I want to cut this 23 1/4 minus a ½ of an inch. It's already 4 o'clock, but just going to cut that piece for right now. I brought it in here, got my tape measure out, and I just measure from here to here, and that's 22 3/4. So plus a ½ of an inch be 23 1/4, which is what that was. So that should be pretty good. That's locked down. The cap somehow. So this is about 3.5. It's like 3.5 OD thing. So this is about 3 inches OD. So I think essentially it'll probably fit in like this. It'll sit like right on top. So I could cut a piece about a ½ of an inch. Doesn't even have to be that big. I can make it actually a little smaller and just put a little weld bead going all the way around it. And that's how it'll be. So it'll be a little short like that, and just put a little weld bead going all the way around. That should be pretty strong. But I look at it like this, because I don't think we have 3.5 of that. I'll probably not make that ½ inch, I'll just make it a 1/4 inch. I repositioned it, moved it to 23 or 23 exactly. So it just got, it'll stick out a 1/4 inch over. So I'll cut that thing to about 1/4 inch long and weld that on top, and I think that should be pretty good. Got it locked down. Make sure you're not fully on full whatever, and hit the button. Give that a go. Now you can adjust it and let her rip. And there you have that. We'll clean that up. My little mount that goes on my neck. I had a little necklace, but that's for my action camera. They make something for a phone too, because I'm recording this on my phone right now. And that way I could do a little hands-free first-person view. And we'll eyeball that, get that close to 1/4 inch. So about like that, 1/4 inch little sliver. Hit the button. Oh, actually make sure they're at 0, see? Always got to do that. About that, someone came in and had to take care of them. But just letting that little sliver cut and go from there. And there she goes. And let's see what that'll look like. I almost wanted to make it, I probably should make this a little bit bigger. So that'll go, oh, something's a little different. See, it fits inside. That other piece that I was checking out over there was actually a little different. That was schedule 80. This is schedule 40. This fits inside. Okay, now we got a little oopsie going on. So I'm going to have to cut another piece of this. I think this will be fine though. And I'll just make this fit. This is 30, whatever. It's exact. I need a 1/4 inch longer. So whatever this is, I'll cut a ½ of an inch and just have it recess out a 1/4 of an inch. So I'll probably cut it a ½ to ½ inch is probably fine. So it'll be sticking out inside a ½, outside a ½. So we'll recut that. This again, ½ inch now. Boom. Boom. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow. I got a couple other things to do, wrap all this stuff up, But we'll see you guys tomorrow then. Can't leave an empty table in the shop because someone will come over here and want to wreak havoc on it. So, gotta leave the keep table clean sign. It's like to keep this table and a couple other tables clean if we can, but at least this table and another one. That way, this I use for my work stuff, like taking stuff from the saw, bring it over there, and I'll wheel it over by the door and grind on it. And that way I don't gotta get my table all messy. And I have a table to grind and work on. So, work table, welding fabrication table. And there you go. I had this over there and Nick hijacked it on me. It's all nasty. Back again tomorrow. So we got this piece cut out and I got my cap cut out. Now I'm gonna work on cutting these pieces out right now. Got to decide on how big to make it. So make them about 12 inches and then a leg and a leg. So 12 plus like 2.5 maybe to the bottom, 2 to 3 inches, 2.5 to 3 inches. Here was this piece, here was the cap, and we'll work on the handles. I was trying to use solid round bar, but it's too hard to just bend in our benders without adding heat to it, so I'm just going to cut it into 3 pieces and weld them together. So I could tell you already, I hate working with carbon steel, how it's all rusty. I'm spoiled with working with aluminum and stainless all the time that I hate working with this stuff now, but we got to do it. Got plenty of this stuff in, so I just cut it a little longer than I needed, and I cut a 45 on each end. So what I'm going to do is that's going to be the end spot like this and this. So I'll just cut a straight cut and a straight cut at like 2.5 inches or whatever I'll decide to. And then same thing for the other one. And then I'll come back and I'll do another 45, and just make sure they're clocked right, but it'll be at the same length. So, if that makes sense. So, here's essentially what I am making. And 12 inches for that piece. And then this piece is going to be 3 inches to the top. And then same thing with this one, 3 inches to the top. So if that makes sense, so I'm going to cut this piece right now. Cut this, straight cut, and cut it at 3 inches. Flip it over, cut that one. And then we'll do the same thing for that other piece. And then we'll go clock it and get our other piece 12 inches. So I'll show you right now, I got my 4 pieces, my mini pieces cut out, the 3 inches long. And now I got to cut my 12-inch pieces. So how am I going to do that? Well, I kind of explained it to you, but now I'm left with a straight cut. So I'll cut 1/45 like that on one side, and then I'll do it on both pieces though, but then measure from here to here 12 inches, and then get your square, mark your 12, and then you can put a 45-degree line on it and just put a marker on it, mark it at 12 inches. But then you got to clock it right, so make sure it's right. I'll show you that in a second. So let's hope we could show this to you. So there's our 45 line. Get your marker ready. Measure from the top of it. Then we'll go 12 inches. Kind of put a mark on that and draw kind of a little line around. Get our square and we'll mark a 45. So kind of eyeball it. Well, actually, I got to make sure how it's going to be in the saw, so which way I'm going to cut. So the saw is going to cut, let's put it like this. So the saw is going to cut like this, if that makes sense. So I want to make sure I have it right like that. So I put my mark on here. I don't want to measure from this way to this way. and put a line like that because I won't be able to see it, and I'll have to flip it, cut it like that, if that makes sense. So we already got our line marked. You kind of want to line it up with the far end, like the tippy top of this touching the line. If that makes sense. And then it doesn't have to be super critical as long as the other one's close to this. So once I cut this, I'll put the other one up, match it up, and just trace it. That's why I probably should have just did it with that whole piece down there and just trimmed one end off 45, but that's all right. So how do you clock that right though? All right, make sure you're kind of right by your mark. Now how do you clock this right? You get, since it's a 45, you can take a level and just level it out. Spin it and level it. So get it lined up with on your mark where you want it, and then take your level and clock it a little bit so it turns level. Sometimes when you tighten it, it'll spin on you, so just double check it afterwards. We're pretty close. If it's off just a hair, if you're touching one of your lines, it'll be fine on the level, and I think we're pretty good. Double check, make sure everything's tight, and give it a go. And same thing for the next one. So, just like that, that's how it'll be perfectly fine. Now you could take your piece like this, kind of match it up, and just trace a line on the end if you want, and that'll get you good. So what you have is, here's your pieces. Hang on, like that. So 2 handles right there. Now I just got to clean it up, and I'll clean up the other stuff. And Sergio hijacked my table on me, so I'm gonna have to figure something else out. So here we go. My least favorite process, cleaning all this stuff up, especially on a hot day like today, but here we go. I hate the carbon steel, anything mill steel. A pain. Takes like extra work, but it's cheaper too for customers, so I guess it makes sense. I'm just spoiled. But break time right now. Alright, so I'm going to start off with making these handles first, and then we'll go from there. Alright, now for this thing, what I did was I put a mark halfway down. I took this little magnet thing, I think it's like a strong hand tool magnet, and kind of fit it up, center it up. That's pretty close, and we need 23 1/4, but that's pretty close right there, and I think that's pretty good. Put some tacks on it, and hopefully that's good to go. I weld that first, and then we'll weld this stuff after. Top is done. Gonna grind that probably down anyway. But a little hot. Those 2 passes. On to the next. I was kind of debating on how I wanted to do it, so I just making it up as I go along. But I kind of like how this is cocked a little bit up like this instead of just straight like that. I'm not going to angle it, so I was just going to make it straight going in like that and center it down. But I kind of like how it's cocked a little bit. It gives you a little better feel to it because it's a little closer to you, so you don't got to reach as far inward. It's a fence post driver. Hitting that fence post in and center it up kind of like that. So I got my center lines right there and center lines right there, and I just shimmed it up a little bit. Really doesn't matter how it looks. So I did 1 3/4, 1 3/4, 1 3/4, 1 3/4. Then I did, what's that, like a 3/4 plus a half plus a 3/16, whatever that is. So 12. Like 1 7/16 and 1 3/4. That gives you a little kick to it. It looks pretty good, I think. So should be pretty good. Put a couple of tacks on each of them. Try not to move this thing too much. And hopefully that'll be pretty good. And then we can weld it all up afterwards. Weld all that, and maybe, I don't know if I'll grind that down or not, these. Maybe a little bit, and maybe that, and it should be done. There you have it. I kind of like it. Kind of like it. What you think? So now we'll put a couple more tacks on and we'll just weld it up really fast. Alrighty, folks. I think that's it. Got some weld going around. Might grind this once it cools. Probably Monday because I gotta get out of here pretty soon. And yeah. But I think that's pretty good. We could smooth it all out if we want, or it's probably fine like that and just take a flat disc and get rid of some of that sharpness right there. But I think it's pretty good how it is. What do you think? And voila! These aren't even sharp, but I was just going to try cleaning them up, but I'd rather leave the weld that way. Makes it just a little bit stronger because you're going to be banging on stuff with it, so they're not even sharp at all. So that's good, but not the prettiest welds, not the worst welds. And then up here, I just ground that down, make it a little smoother. But there it is, that little angle right there gives you brings it a little closer to you. See if you could see I offset it a little, so it's a little closer, just like theirs is. And then I cocked it this way just a little bit. Might be hard for you to see. And it should be exactly even, the way I had it with the shims on there. So pretty cool. So what do you think? Bam! Bam! Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we shall see you guys on the next one. Wojnarski, over and out.